Welcome back to the Teacup Trail. We are in part 2 of episode 8 review. I'm gonna be honest with you. I already watched the second half of episode 8 and I was shook. I was like how did this happen? But I was watching it in the middle of a football game, so I was kind of in and out, but I did get a good sense of what happened in the second half of episode 8, and I was freaking out. But here's my analysis, and let's get started.
Thank you for tonight.
It was nice to get out on our own. I'd invite you in.
No. If little Jack hears me, he might wake up.
Good night.
Good night.
As most of us already know, this is literally the last perfect and good moment between Elizabeth and Lucas, because the next scene is just a bombshell. I already feel like I'm gonna rant about the next scene, but this scene between Lucas and Elizabeth, we get to see them and their great night on the date, and they have a new babysitter, Allie, watching little Jack. Lucas seems very happy with Elizabeth. Things are going well between the two, and there were some cute moments, there was holding each other arms, hand in hand, and Lucas smiled at her really happily before she walked up the stairs to her front door. Yeah, I'm just gonna be emotional for the next minute or so because
Hello. Nathan.
Hi. Sorry.
What happened?
Allie had a panic. Little Jack was playing hide and seek very well. She got me and we searched everywhere for him and finally found him under the sofa. Yeah.
I should have told her he really likes hiding there. Apple juice?
I'm gonna stop at least 2 times in this scene. I think this scene is a little bit long. There are so many small details to analyze and talk about, and I'm still shocked watching this scene the second time. I'm still feeling the shock and surprise and very huge disappointment, trying to understand how was it possible for the writers and the show to just turn the ship around and go into the other direction. And I feel like they were very, very sneaky in a way to turn the ship around and go with Nathan. That's how I feel. It's a huge betrayal. I don't know if because they think they are running out of ideas, they were not confident in Lucas' character to be the right man for Elizabeth. I don't want to call out names, but there are a group of people on the show that decided this, and unfortunately, it came to reality on our TV screens, and now I'm watching this for the second time, just why? It was normal. Elizabeth was surprised to see Nathan. I totally get that. Nathan wasn't expected to be hanging around in her living room with Allie. It wasn't intentionally wrong. Nathan was there to help Allie, and he decided to stay to support her and make sure that nothing else bad happened. I totally understand that. But around that situation, the writers were sneaky. You just oh, let this happen, let this slide in. And Elizabeth, she felt a bit awkward because it's late at night and she just finished a date with Lucas, right? And Nathan sitting comfortably on the couch with Allie asleep and little Jack sleeping upstairs. And not to be rude, Elizabeth like, okay, like, do you want apple juice? And I'm like, okay, here we go.
Ellie put Jack to bed and then fell asleep herself. I thought I should stick around, just in case.
I'm glad you did. For her sake.
How was your night?
Lovely. I hope you weren't too bored waiting here by yourself.
No. You got a great selection of books. I was halfway done it. How are the questions coming with little Jack?
Good. Figuring it out. And telling him stories. Keeping Jack's memory alive. Just trying to listen. Thanks for asking.
Oh, that stuff's never easy.
I will admit, there was something going on between Elizabeth and Nathan. By this point, I feel like they are forcing it now, to be Nathan for Elizabeth. But there was some tingling between Elizabeth and Nathan in this scene. And it just outside of the world of Hope Valley, like outside of it, like writing perspective, like why, like it's just like the world turned upside down. Like we just had like an earthquake and everything is just wrong. I feel like I have a lot to say. I was going to say that it is very disappointing and shocking that this is happening while Elizabeth is still engaged to Lucas. And I'm trying to like compare this scene to like real life because I feel like, this show can be like reality too, do I want to witness Elizabeth emotionally cheating, physically cheating with Nathan? I really don't. She definitely won't kiss Nathan while she is with Lucas, though. I hope not. But emotionally cheating, yeah, like that can happen before, the physical side of it happen, like you can emotionally cheat on your girlfriend or boyfriend before you do something physically, and that's one thing I'm concerned about for Elizabeth because I feel like this scene is the beginning of that possibility. Like she might start to emotionally cheat with Nathan, and Lucas will get dumb, and yeah, poor Lucas. Anyway, this scene is awkward, a mixture of awkwardness and the pure shock, not only for like the audience watching this episode, but I feel like it's a shock for these two. I mean, they feel awkward with each other, like they try to keep the conversation going, but at the same time, Elizabeth is shocked that this is happening right now, and Nathan, I feel like he has some form of shock too, like, okay, like, just because my daughter Allie decided to be a babysitter and the hide and seek happened, and now here we are, I'm drinking apple juice right across from Elizabeth, the woman that I used to love, or maybe I still have feelings for. A few more things I want to point out. When Elizabeth said, "Oh, I'm glad that you stick around for Allie's sake," I felt like she kind of like say that like with a little force, like letting him know, like, no, like I'm not happy that you stick around for me. I'm happy that you stick around for Allie. I don't know if you felt that, but I was just like, okay. Second, I'm not ever gonna deny it, but Nathan and Elizabeth, they do have a strong friendship. They do have common interests. They do have a strong connection over single parent life, and Nathan was very, very hearing to check in on Elizabeth and see how she's doing with little Jack, and talking about little Jack's dad, and just trying to keep little Jack's dad memory alive. Then Elizabeth's mood kind of turned down a little bit. I don't know if it because of the awkwardness in the scene, but I think along with that is that she talked about Jack Thornton a bit, and Nathan is a Mountie, and I'm just wondering if her feelings in general about falling in love with a Mountie again, like, came back to her. Just a random thought, but I did notice that her mood kind of changed right at the end of this part before I cut it. But Nathan, he's just trying to keep the conversation going. There's a lot of unspoken feelings and emotion going on in this scene.
Yeah, just between us. Allie is afraid she's not gonna get hired back. Which honestly I totally get. I mean, losing a child in the first 5 minutes is pretty much against the job description.
Are you kidding me? Clearly she has good instincts. She kept a cool head. She summoned law enforcement. I'll keep her as busy as she wants to be.
That would mean the world to her. And she really looks up to you.
Well, that means the world to me.
I'm telling you, I knew right off the bat, once Allie asked Nathan if she could ask Elizabeth if she could be the new babysitter for little Jack, I'm like, oh man, this could be the VIP pass to begin that Nathan and Elizabeth shenanigans. Yeah, I'm I'm so mad. I don't want to be mad in a rude way while I'm filming this, but yeah. Anyway, Nathan. Binoculars on Nathan. I saw that intensity in his eyes when Elizabeth complimented Allie on the first night of babysitting little Jack. Nathan admired how Elizabeth complimented Allie, like he is a proud dad and having the proud parent moment. And of course, Nathan as a dad, he wants the best for Allie, and he doesn't want Allie to lose her chance to be a babysitter for little Jack. But at the same time, he would understand if Elizabeth doesn't want Allie to continue to be the babysitter after what happened tonight. But Elizabeth was very nice, and she trusts Allie in that area to be a babysitter for her son. Elizabeth is trying so hard to stay calm and collected. Again, she is engaged to Lucas, so I feel really bad for Lucas at this moment. What was I gonna say? Nathan, he said that Allie looks up to Elizabeth, but I feel at the same time, indirectly, he complimenting Elizabeth too, without saying it directly to her. And I think she felt that just by the way that they look at each other. Elizabeth trying to stay calm in this moment. She swallowed her throat, just trying to maintain her composure and not show much more to Nathan of how she is feeling being in this moment with him. Yeah, this is getting intense.
I saw you dancing with Faith. You two seem really happy.
Yeah, she broke things off. Just before that dance, actually.
Oh, Nathan, I'm so sorry.
No, it's all right. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I don't think I'm very good at this thing. But maybe I'm not meant to be that kind of guy.
You're done with love.
Maybe I should be. Yeah, maybe I should be.
Oh my gosh. When Elizabeth tried to bring up the topic of faith, she stuttered at first, and then she just said it, and Nathan was just like, okay, interesting way of transitioning into a different topic in this conversation, but at the same time, the feeling of that moment of breaking up with Faith, even though they were not really official, it brought back to him in this moment with Elizabeth. So Nathan was just like, oh, here we go again, we're talking about Faith, but he not upset at Elizabeth. Like, Elizabeth didn't know. So Nathan told her what happened, and as a friend, Elizabeth trying to support Nathan, like, oh, like, she felt sorry, but at the same time, she didn't want him to give up on finding love. But when he said that he should maybe be done with dating and finding the right woman, Elizabeth kind of like shut down a little bit, and I'm just like, where is this coming from? Once again, look at she is still engaged to look at. So, like, by this point right now, I'm just afraid that this could be like the beginning of her emotionally cheating on Lucas. And it's not good. It's like she is starting to paint a mental picture, like, what if I'm with Nathan, that's another thing, what I felt, by just her facial expression. Also, the way that she looked toward him as he explained his love life, I think she still sees the potential that he had to be a great boyfriend, a great husband to whichever woman that he wanted to pick in the future. Like, she didn't want him to give up, as a friend, like, don't give up, like, you will eventually find the right woman. But at the same time, I think she's starting to paint that mental picture, like, okay, am I having second thoughts about Lucas? Is Nathan the right one? And I'm just like, here we go again, going through that psychology battle with Elizabeth. When we started the love triangle between Nathan and Lucas, like, she went through a lot. Like, she had to figure it out. And now here we are, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like, this psychology 102, like, it kind of like repeating the cycle. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say, but it's just like, oh my god, like, it's kind of like going back to step one of the love triangle.
I should wake her up and we should get out of here.
You could leave her and come back and pick her up in the morning if you want.
Yeah? I think she'd actually prefer that.
Of course.
Thanks. Good night.
Good night.
Elizabeth, she was staring at Nathan, like she was like giving that direct eye attention, but she was staring at him like a little bit too long, to the point that he caught her and she quickly looked away. I think both of them know what's really going on in this scene. And Nathan is getting late. He was like, you know what, like this is awkward enough, like let me go home. It's not bad awkwardness, it's just a very interesting awkwardness going on between the two. It was very nice of Elizabeth to let Allie sleep over, and there was such a sweet moment though when Nathan put the blanket over Allie and just mentally saying goodnight to Allie before he left the house. Yeah, very, very deep and shocking, and that feeling of the world being turned upside down. Nathan, after he closed the door, I don't know, I feel like it could be like either way, but I think he felt that attraction, that there's still something in the air between the two, and he smiled at the thought of that. Elizabeth, she is approaching the line. She's like crossing the red line, and she feeling all the mixed emotion in the scene. And when she picked up the Mountie hat, all the flashbacks of Jack came back to her, and of course, like her eyes immediately look up to the picture of Jack. And it's just like, it's that nod from Jack, like it's okay to fall in love again with a different Mountie, even though for me I'd rather pick Lucas. But anyway, yeah, so that's my analysis. I feel like I talk a lot. One more thing, like if Lucas did not exist, like this would have been like a really nice foreshadow, like a beautiful potential of a future family with Nathan, Allie, Elizabeth, and little Jack. But for me personally, I feel a little bit odd if Nathan and Elizabeth do like pursue and get married. I just feel a little bit odd seeing Allie like become a bonus daughter to Elizabeth. I don't know. It would be interesting because Allie and Elizabeth, like, it was always meant to be a teacher-student relationship, but then, the love triangle happened, and now this is happening. So that's my honesty. I was also surprised to see this scene happen, because I feel like it did not happen when Elizabeth was dating Lucas. Correct me if I'm wrong, but why now? Like, why show this scene? Why did Elizabeth decide to go to the cemetery? To me, I feel like she is feeling a lot of emotion after what happened last night with having a wonderful day to look at, to spending alone time with Nathan. It's like she went on 2 dates on the same night. You know what I mean?
How you? Sorry, it's been a while. The past few months have been interesting. Not everything's fine. Let's see. Rosaleen is back. She asked about you. The governor is visiting Buxton. And possibly Hope Valley, if Rosemary has any say in it. Speaking of Rosemary, She's managing to do a million things with this sweet baby girl on her hip. They named her Goldie, after her mother. The wedding is coming together, slowly but surely. Oh, your son tormented the babysitter last night, which reminded me of a story your mother told me about you and your brother. He's more like your everyday Jack. I think you'd be really proud of him. I know you would.
Overall, I thought it was very nice to see Elizabeth visit Jack grave. It had been a while. She had been busy. It also showed that she definitely moved on. Like, she felt comfortable to move forward to the future and find love again. And she picked Lucas, and now this whole thing with Nathan. But I thought she was gonna like explode to Jack and be like, I'm confused. Like, should I be with Nathan? Or, you know what I mean? I thought she would have that outburst. But she tried to keep it cool, you know. She did mention about the wedding, but the way she said it though, like, slowly but surely, like, I just felt like there was some hesitation, like she wasn't confident in the wedding planning, and it had been a while since we at the audience hear any updates about the wedding, right? For the past, at least 2 episodes? Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's just something fishy going on, you know, from a writing perspective. And then I noticed how she, after she mentioned about the wedding, like she kind of like covered her ring finger with her right hand. I'm not sure if that, like, out of respect, you know, I think she still feel a little bit odd, you know, knowing that she is engaged to Lucas, but she still have the same capacity of love and respect for Jack as her first husband. I don't know if that makes sense, but I just noticed that she moved her right hand over her left hand. But either way, yeah, I still think that she's going through a lot in her head about Nathan and Lucas.
Henry.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good to see you. What can I do for you?
Nothing, really. Just doing a little thinking about Molly and Patrick Sullivan's daughter.
Rosaleen.
You know, I've made my way in some form or another with pretty much everyone in this town. That's when I saw her again. It reminded me of the faraway look she had in her eye after the disaster.
We tried talking to her.
That's what I'm here thinking of.
Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened or dismayed. The Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Take your time.
I loved Joseph holding the Bible first, but he did say take your time. I feel like I disagree with that a little bit, but I feel like when this an important moment in your life, like especially forgiveness, like a huge request on forgiveness from someone. I think it's time is ticking, and I'm really hoping that Henry will have the opportunity to talk to Rosaleen before she leaves, if she does ever leave, like if anything happened and Rosaleen needs to leave Hope Valley, like Henry loses a chance, but I totally understand what Joseph's trying to say, like take your time, like it's a huge task for Henry to do, and it's a big thing, it's a big action, a big gesture. Henry initiating the conversation to Rosaleen, that takes a lot of guts and confidence to do that. But it just showed that Henry is thinking about it and that he is considering it, and he listened to what Elizabeth said and advised him on what to do. It's just a matter of the right moment, right? And hopefully Rosaleen will open her heart to Henry and heal him out, and eventually, hopefully, she will forgive him.
A duet?
Yes. We thought we would pair your bellowing tones with one of our lighter voices.
I'm game.
Duets can be so charming and effective at blending voices.
Oh, well, I remember this one time I was starring in the musical The Belle of Bohemia, and I had a duet with an actor who could barely carry a tune. As it turned out, all he needed was a little encouragement and a lot of practice. But our voices blended together beautifully.
It sounds great.
Then it's settled.
Right. We'll leave you to it.
I think indirectly, Rosemary and Minnie are shipping May and Mike to be a couple. But that's really interesting, though. A duet. May is not confident in her voice, so I was a little surprised that she was picked on the spot to sing a duet with Mike. Mike is super excited. He's confident in his voice, so hopefully he will help May with her confidence. This is something out of her comfort zone for May, and I think it's fun and a little bit funny at the same time. Seeing this storyline in this episode is something that May is not really good at. She is good at pharmacy, she is good at chemistry, mixing medicine and the hair salon and other things. But when it comes to music, singing is not her expertise, it's not her talent. So it's really entertaining to see May like freaking out and being out of her comfort zone. But Mike will be there to help her out. But Rosemary, good for Rosemary though, she is listening to what Minnie thinks is best, and Rosemary is working together with Minnie. It's not about control, it's not about Rosemary's show. This is all about teamwork. What is best for the team, what is best for Hope Valley. So that's good that Rosemary agreed to expand the opportunity to other people, not just her. It's not all about Rosemary, not to be mean, but it's just basically, what is best for the team. And we'll see how it goes with Mike and May. Yeah, interesting potential of Mike and May.
Rosaleen? Hello?
I don't want to talk to you.
I just want to help.
How did I not see it? It was you. You set up the scholarship.
You deserve every penny.
You feel guilty.
Please accept it.
You want to wipe your hands clean again? buy everyone and everything in this town with the money that you made running the mine that killed my dad. No. I don't want it.
Number one, she definitely grew up. She definitely speaking up for herself and her family. I totally get it. I mean, we all went through what Rosaleen is going through right now. That feeling of bitterness and frustration, anger towards someone that hurt you or betrayed you or attack against you. Henry, he didn't know what to say, and it was just out of the blue moment. They just ran into each other. If Henry had more time, he probably would have said a speech to explain himself and to beg for forgiveness from Rosaleen, but at this point she really doesn't want to listen to him or give him a second chance. But I was also thinking, we don't really think about it in the heat of the moment, but if you really think about it, the money that he gained from the mine and the dirty work that he did in his past, he is turning it around for good, for a good cause. He could have, kept the money to himself, right, or use it for other things in his life, but he decided to use his money to give back to the community and especially for Rosaleen. So that means something, right? So it's just Rosaleen is not seeing the picture here, the full picture, but hopefully she changes her mind and give Henry a chance to talk it out with her.
Good morning.
It's private property, ma'am.
Yes, I know the owners. It's quite the crew you have there.
Putting in a new well.
You need a horse and plow for that?
Ma'am, I'll have to ask you to move along. It's not safe here.
I'm pretty sure that was just by accident. I was thinking, did she actually did that on purpose? But I think she just randomly ran into this group of mysterious people doing mysterious work. But yeah, that doesn't sound good and that doesn't look good. So Elizabeth, you better hurry up and get out of there. But there's definitely something fishy going on with Bernard and his group of men.
Me, 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 me. Now your turn.
Okay. Me, 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 me.
Oh, that was great. You sounded great.
Mike, you don't have to pretend. Rosemary and Minnie paired me up with you because of how terrible I sound.
That's not true.
Either way, thank you for your patience.
Remember, ears over your shoulders, shoulders over your hips, hips over your knees, knees over your feet. Oh, and breathe from the diaphragm.
Where'd you learn all of this?
My sisters and I made up most of the church choir back home.
Well, singing's more complicated than I thought.
Oh, well, there's as much technique as you care to learn. But really, all you have to do is just relax.
Just relax and I magically sound good?
Yes, and believe that your voice is beautiful. Because I do. So, let's try it together with our eyes closed. Me, 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 me. Great!
And that statement, the world turned upside down, I felt like that with May and Mike because I was totally shipping, honestly, Nathan and May, but that's not happening. So I felt like the writers changed the direction on that. That new potential of a new love triangle between Faith, Nathan, and May. But nothing wrong with Mike. Mike is a super sweet guy, and I feel like by now, like, it's a long time coming to see him happy, you know, happy in a relationship, and that could be with May. Very, very nice and supportive of him in this scene toward May, and I think she is falling for him. Like, I think she is starting to have a crush on him, and she is so appreciative of how supportive he is and how helpful he is in practicing for the choir and the singing presentation. Yeah, interesting duo. I did not see this coming.
Afternoon. You know, if you're here with my babysitting money, let's just say it's on the house. A lost child is pretty much a full refund. What's the matter?
I'm not sure. I rode by Bill's land earlier today, and there were some men there.
Yeah, no sense of humor. I spoke to them yesterday. They said they're putting in a well.
And a horse fitted with a plow.
What do they need with all that?
They didn't seem to appreciate my questions.
What is Montego up to?
I don't know. But I intend to find out.
I don't know if I'm the only one that thought of this, but I was thinking Nathan, like, as a protector, as a Mountie of Hope Valley, I thought he would have, like, at least warned Elizabeth, like, be careful, like, you don't know what you're getting into, like, maybe, like, allow her to have the freedom to do what she wants, but at least remind her, like, be careful. Lucas, on the other hand, like, he has his eyes on Elizabeth, especially if he sees her talking to Bernard in public. He doesn't want to see his fiance, you know, like, get hurt or anything bad happen to her, like, God forbid, you know. She does have a kid, you know, little Jess. Like, you don't want her to be involved too much with this group of men that Hope Valley really doesn't know well just yet, you know, and it sounds like really, really serious after Elizabeth rode by Bill Land. So I guess she did pass by Bill Land on purpose. She does have that senses of, like, being a detective, you know. But then again, you know, she really needs to be careful. And I thought Nathan would have said something like that to her, but he is all in for her in doing whatever she wants to do. I thought it's just very dangerous of her to get deep with this case when Nathan should be more involved. Yeah.
You really have to leave right now? I thought you were working with Faith today.
I just have to go. Please.
Did something happen? Sweetie, can you tell me?
It's nothing.
Well, don't just run off to South Carolina like that without at least talking to me.
I just have to go. I can't be here. I thought I could. But then I saw him.
Henry.
It all came back to me. I felt like a scared little kid again.
But you're not. You are a strong young woman now. I know it hurts. I really do. But you can't keep running forever.
Not like you. I can't just accept what he did to our family. He took Dad from us. I cast the women and children aside from this town like they were nothing.
He did awful things. He was a terrible man. But I promise you, he isn't anymore. He paid for what he did, and he's done good for this town. There is something even more powerful than acceptance, Rosaleen. Forgiveness.
Rosaleen definitely needs forgiveness as much as Henry needs it too. So I bet they were talking again by the end of this episode. But what a powerful moment. Rosaleen trying to run again and her mom, like not knowing the whole story. But as a mom, like, you know everything, you have that sense of like, okay, this is about Henry. And she spoke the truth, like, she didn't deny what Henry did in his past, but Molly watched Henry become a better man over the past 2 years or so, and she saw the changes, like, firsthand, like, right in front of her eyes. Rosaleen, she was out of town, South Carolina, wherever she was, and she didn't see all of that happen in front of her eyes. Molly did, and Molly let her know, like, you can't keep running away. You can't not accept Henry because you don't know the whole story. Like, you didn't know from the moment you left Hope Valley until now. Like, you didn't see the changes, you didn't see the improvements in him. Basically, Molly, like, giving a nod to Rosaleen, like, you should talk to him, like, you should forgive him. You need it for yourself, you need it, he needs it for himself too. It needs to be spoken out, to each other, like, I forgive you, like, say it out loud, and, that I'm pretty sure the burden will be lifted off both of Rosaleen and Henry shoulders. Yeah, I thought it was a powerful mom and daughter moment. It's just one of those moments, of deep talk about life in general and knowing the importance of forgiveness. And good for Molly, not only for, like, supporting her daughter to rise up and face it. Like, you are a strong woman, you can do this, you can talk to Henry. Not only that, but good for Molly for standing up for Henry, because it is the truth. Like, Henry did his punishment, like, he made up for what he did, and he became a better person, and he earned that, like, he earned a second chance, and Hope Valley gave him a second chance. So we'll see if they will talk. I already watched the episode, but yeah, they will eventually talk, Rosaleen and Henry.
You sure you don't want to join?
I'm here to listen and enjoy, and that's all.
Well, maybe you'll be inspired.
Maybe. I had fun last night.
Me too.
And I'd like to apologize for the Montague thing.
Lucas, it's nothing.
Sometimes I find I still put my livelihood ahead of what's important. You have great instincts about people. I should have trusted you. I hope you know that you can always share with me.
Thank you.
Big step. You can always share with me. I'm like, oh boy, Elizabeth, you are hiding something from Lucas, and we all know what it's about. But I gotta give some credit to Lucas. Like, I think he meant well. Like, he wanted to protect Elizabeth. It was as his job, like when Elizabeth talked to Bernard at the restaurant, like, it was in front of Lucas, and Lucas was on shift, he was working. So I totally understand where Lucas was coming from, but at the same time, he was like watching out for Elizabeth, and I think she saw that, you know. But other than that, that look on Elizabeth's face, I felt like half of the happy Elizabeth was there, but the other half of Elizabeth, she was thinking about what happened last night with Nathan, because Lucas doesn't know about that just yet, and he doesn't know what's going on inside her head. And the moment he said, you know, you can always share with me, and like if you ever want to talk about anything, and I'm like, oh boy, technically she is lying behind his back. Like, let's be honest.
Mr. Gowan? I wanted to apologize for earlier. I was angry. I suppose I've been angry for a long time.
You don't need to apologize to me. Ever. I'm sorry. For everything.
When I left town, I didn't think I'd ever come back. Too many memories. Good and bad. Trying to hold on to the good ones. I remember that gruff man that used to control this town. And I remember how much I hated him for what he took. And how scared I was of him. But that man isn't here anymore. I see that now. We're going to listen to the choir. You should join us.
I'm just gonna finish up around here.
Awesome, beautiful moment finally happened. She didn't say I forgive you out loud, but basically she forgave him. And forgiveness, like, I feel like there are stages in forgiveness, you know. They made it right with each other, and now it's just the start of the recovery process, you know, building up that friendship between Henry and Rosaleen. Very nice of her to invite him over to listen to the choir, and I'm pretty sure the burdens were lifted off of him, and it felt really good for him, I bet. And he looked very relieved and happy, and like that Bible verse, you know, like God is with you wherever you go, and I'm sure he was there, like, with Henry in that moment. It's just a very intense and powerful moment.
Sleep, my child, and peace attend thee all through the night. Guardian angels, God will send thee all through the night.
Soft the drowsy hours are creeping, hill and vale in slumber sleeping. I, my loving vigil keeping all through the night.
While the moon her watch is keeping all through the night. While the weary world is sleeping all through the night. O'er thy spirit gently steal.
they were watching the presentation in front of them, the interaction between May and Mike. There was like a confidence boost when Mike looked over to May, like, you got this, like, join me in, and we can sing together. And she did, so good for her. Rosemary being a proud choir mom of not only May and Mike, but the team. Like, they sounded really good, so kudos to them. Little Jack going over to Allie, I felt like that can be like two messages behind that. One is that he really liked Allie as a babysitter, and he getting really comfortable with her as his babysitter, and just loves her as like a big sister figure. The other message behind that, my guess, is that it's gonna shift to Nathan and Elizabeth, you know what I mean? Even though it's just little Jack moving his seat, but I felt like there was like a message behind that, you know, like this is the shift of Nathan and Elizabeth. And looking over like, okay, where did he go? But at the same time, I think Lucas, felt like a little heartbroken. Like, oh man, like my buddy moved to sit next to Allie and Nathan. But Elizabeth, she looked over to Lucas after that, and it was just that comforting look, like assurance for Lucas, like, Lucas and Elizabeth are meant to be together, even though at the same time she is lying to him. She is like a little bit starting to emotionally cheat on Lucas. Yeah, that sucks. Like, in all honesty, that actually sucks. And part of me, I question, like, is this really Elizabeth's character? Like, would she really do this, I just never see this side of her, you know what I mean? Like, in the beginning of the love triangle, like, of course she had to pick one guy over the other, and she was single, and, she had the space to figure it out, right? But since now she is engaged to Lucas and then switching over to Nathan, I just question her character and her motives and who she really is as a person deep down. And I'm not trying to say that in a mean, judgmental way, but like, it doesn't look good on her, on her character. I don't know how you guys feel about her character by the end of episode 8. And I think that's the Teacup question of the episode. What do you think of Elizabeth's character by the end of episode 8? But I felt like this is a different ball game, and it just something that I did not expect Elizabeth to go through or do, or feel, or whatever she is doing behind Lucas' back. And yeah, I don't like it. I really don't. And for all the haters, like, if you see this as like a real life thing, like, it's not good. So it's not good in real life, it's not good in the show, and I just don't like how they are painting the picture of Elizabeth personality and character. I think she is better than that, Anyway, yeah, that's the Teacup question of the day. Anything else, feel free to rant in the comment section below. Yeah, so on to episode 9. Getting there, you guys. It's actually past midnight on a work day. Yeah, I just don't like this at all, and I have 4 more episodes to go. And if I feel like this right now, like, it's gonna be worse if I watch and do reviews for season 11. And yeah, I'll be shocked if they speed it up for Nathan and Elizabeth in season 11 if they really do go down that road. But right now, I just don't like how she is handling this situation behind Lucas' back. And especially when he said, like, I hope that you know that you can always share with me. And I'm like, and I feel bad for Lucas. He did not deserve this at all. So on that note, I will see you very soon for episode 9. Thank you again, as usual, for your support and your time. And give a like if you like this. If you don't like this, well, goodbye. See you around. Bye.